How are we doing, everyone, and welcome to my latest video. You can see the sun is shining. I've got clear blue skies, and the reason for that is because I'm not in the UK. I'm actually down in the south of France with my good friend Nick, and we are waiting to get onto Peg 19 of Rainbow Lake. So I'm back at Bow for the next week. Really looking forward to it. You can see the carp van is all loaded up. We've got all of our stuff packed inside there. We stayed overnight at the local hotel, so we're all fresh and ready to go. We're just going to nip into the supermarket, get some supplies, and then head down to the lake and get into the swim for this evening. So the way that it works at Rainbow is we can arrive early afternoon, and then we get to set up in the swims, get out, find our spots. Realistically, not looking to get our rods out until tomorrow morning, which is the Sunday morning, and then you can fish all the way through till first thing the following Saturday. So super excited about that. But in a beautiful French village. Hopefully I'll be sharing some video footage of some absolute donkey carp in this video. So keep those fingers crossed. Remember, like and subscribe this video. Let's go to Bow, people. Let's go. Well, there you go. You can see from the sign behind me, we finally made it down to the famous Rainbow Lake, or Lac Curton as it is officially known. Just waiting for the gates to open behind me here, and for Max or Pascal to come and let us in so we can go and sign in the clubhouse and then go find our new home on Peg 19 for the next week. But the sun is shining, it's a beautiful day down here, and we're buzzing to get onto the lake. Hopefully next time you see me, we'll be in Peg 19 setting up, getting ready to catch a few big rainbow carp. Here we are, Nick, Peg 19. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
There we go.
Happy days.
Happy days indeed. We met our neighbours down to the left. We've met our neighbours from the island as well. Lovely anglers. They gave us some tips on some spots out there or where the boundaries are, which is all good. And I'll walk you through the swim a little bit later on. But basically stretches out there all the way up to the islands. We've got some channels to fish, some islands to go up against, some open water to fish as well. Really nice peg, this one, 19. And deep water as well out in front of us as well. So we've got a bit of everything in front of us, but we've got the solar, I don't know what that's called, a solar pop-up cube, I think it's called, and yeah, popped up quite nicely. So that's our little kitchen tent, our home from home. And then what we're gonna do is set the boats up in a minute, get out there, position the rods this evening, and then we can focus a bit on setting the bivvies up and actually getting the bed chairs sorted. But, oh, I know. We've got some little friends here as well, got our little ducks coming. See if I can put them on camera. Hey. Making friends already, Nick?
Yeah.
Come here. There's Mama Duck over there. I don't think Mama Duck's going to like me chasing little baby ducks around on my GoPro. No, they're off. But there you go, Peg 19. Cheers, everyone. Here's to a few fish over the next week. Well, we've finally got all 8 rods out in the water and we are fishing. We haven't set camp up completely yet, but you can see behind me we've got a beautiful rainbow sunset. Absolutely stunning. Rods have gone out okay, you know, not super happy, but to be honest with you, the first night I'm always like that at Rainbow, because you're sort of dropping them down with double leads, and I'll show you the tactics and the rigs we use later on in the video, but it's nothing like you do with the UK, so you're questioning yourself all the time. You know, we had a crosswind coming across here and it was picking up the braid and sort of like putting a big bow in the line. You're trying to straighten it out, and you know, the pressure's on a little bit because you get the rods out there and you're like, right, okay, you know, I'm going to leave these for 2 days now, so I hope it's right. But it's feeling good. It's feeling good. We've got a beautiful swim here. We've got a lot of water. Tomorrow I'll show you exactly where I'm fishing, but I'm going up the arm here. Got a rod in the royal box, one tucked behind the island, one up on the marginal shelf on the island on the right hand side, and one just off of a snag bush up alongside the main island. So got my rods out on the spots, got a little bit of the trigger ice around it with my hard hooker hook baits and some ultra buoyant pop-ups to make some snowmen. But yeah, we're gonna get the rest of the camp set up, get some food on and sit back and relax and enjoy our first night on Rainbow. Well, it was our first morning here on Rainbow and I am off the mark. Well chuffed with this one. I was just laying in bed, sun was rising, and I was thinking, you know what, I need to go to the toilet. But I couldn't have that thought for too long because the right hand rod pulled up and I was into a fish on my right hand rod. The fish actually snagged me down the margin, kited off the island and around the corner. When I got over it in the boat, it was snag solid, but just took my time, tried to find with the echo sound of what the snag was. Didn't look to be a snag like a tree or anything. It must have just been down the side of the ledge, just caught on something there. So I slackened off, that worked a treat, and then the fish popped up for the net a couple of minutes later. So I've got a nice common in the net, probably I don't know, mid-40s I reckon. And it looks like one of the old warrior commons that Rainbow is sort of famous for. So yeah, just go and get some pictures of this one, get her weighed, and then get the rod back out. There we go. So 41 pound this one. Lovely start to the morning. There we go. That's why we come to Bow. Well, we come to Bow for its granddad, but we'll start with this one, won't we, Nick, eh? There you go. Absolute beauty. Right, slip her back. You notice they've all got this like crinkly heads. That's what they're famous for. If you have a little look with the camera, Nick, you see they've got these, it's like this big, oh, come back up. See all these like crinkles on the head here, and when they get bigger they get really defined, so it looks it's like they've got like pitted skulls. And there she goes. Boom.
Happy days.
Off the mark, mate. Yes. Woohoo! Well, what a start to the trip this is. I just put back that common and walked around to the toilet, went to the toilet, came back to the swim and put out my right hand rod that I'd caught the common on, so that rod hadn't gone back out. Dropped it down, felt nice where I dropped it, came back to the shore, put it on the rest, and Nick said he was going off to the toilet, so he's walked off, literally just left the swim. I clipped the bobbin on and I was just stood next to the rods, just thinking about turning the alarm on, just looking at the line settling, and all of a sudden I just heard zzz as the rod tore off. And gave me a proper run around out there because the clutch hadn't been set tight, as I was just sort of like sinking the tightening the line up, getting the line lay right. I hadn't tightened the clutch right up, so yeah, it got a head start on me, put it that way. And yeah, it was an absolute brutal battle. But I've got a mirror. I've got a Rainbow mirror in the net. Just come out here. Can't believe it. Normally on Rainbow, like, it takes you until Tuesday until you get a spot going. So to have 2 bites on the first morning is pretty good. I'm happy. Right, let's turn it around, see if I can show you this. So yeah, the spot that I'm fishing is out on the island there. This corner bit is really snaggy. I'm going right up tight next to the bank on top of the ledges. The shelf is like really steep like this. I can't use floats on it, I can't double lead. I'm having to use a big flat lead, and I'm actually using a stiff rig just to lay it down so the bait doesn't come and drop on top of the lead. And yeah, it seems to be working at the moment. But yeah, I'll go into the rigs and tactics a little bit later on, but there you go, there she is. Don't know how big she is, probably another 40 I reckon. So yeah, happy days. It's nice to be back at Bow. There we go, second fish of the trip. 42 pound mirror. Real long one this one, real hard fighter. But quite a young fish I think this one here. But yeah, things are going well first morning. Same tiny little spot. Slip it back and see if we can get another one. So it's about mid-morning now, and I thought I'd just give you a quick run through of like the equipment that I'm using for the session. So I'm actually using the ST13s from South Coast Rods. I thought about to bring the 10-foot rods, but because I'm actually fishing out up there against snags, and on a few of the rods I need to pull the fish back from the snags quite quickly, having that 13-foot rod with the extra leverage is actually quite beneficial. So I've gone for the ST13s on the rod wires. Got my Shimano Power Arrows, and they are loaded up with, I think that's about 60-pound braid. And then on the bite indication wires, I've got these Nash springers or springers. They've got the spring inside there, so you can set the tension. So I've got the tension set quite heavy and with the weight right down, so that's pulling down nice and tight on the line. Got the good old R4 bite alarms there, love those. And then on the business end, I'll show you that later on, but we've got some size 2 real strong hooks on there, and I'm actually using a leadless lead core as the hook link on it, going up to I think 50-pound mono shock leader to the braid. So heavy tactics, but I'm still catching bream on it, believe it or not. So you know, if you can catch bream on these tactics, then you can catch bream on anything. And yeah, so that's the rods set up on single sticks. We've also got these little rod locks on the butt rest there to stop the rod lifting up and getting pulled in, and you fish those with the clutches super tight, so that if you get a bite, the tip's just going to pull on over, and you're trying to hold the fish until you can get to the rod, lift it up. And basically what you don't want is for them to get a full head of steam before you get down to the rods, because if that happens, you're not going to turn their heads and they're going to be in a snag before you know it. Bait wise, my ever faithful trigger ice. Now what I did with this is I soaked them in water for 3 days before I came out. There you go, in the sunshine there. So they've gone soft. So I'm actually turning up using soft baits to try and replicate baits that have been in the peg for a week or so. That's got the trigger ice liquid on there. And I love these baits, they're absolutely awesome. The fish love them. Everywhere I've taken them, they've done well. But just to show you how soft they are, moving to the sun, oh, so you can see it. If I pinch it, they just come apart in my fingers, and you can see they break up into all that attraction. And what I've been doing is I've actually been crumbing the baits up, putting a few handfuls of whole soft boilies and then a few handfuls of crumb like this over the spot, and that's what I've been having the fish on. So yeah, it's working so far. Put that back in there, and I think it's time to go and have a little bit of porridge for breakfast and hopefully get another fish. So just thought I'd go through a little bit of bait prep with you, because I've basically been using these baits here, and they have been soaking in water and the liquid booster for about 3 or 4 days now. So these ones here, like I said earlier, they're actually soft to the touch, so they crumble up real nicely. And all I'm going to do, as you can see, I've got a couple of kilos of bait left there. And what I'm going to do is get some of the fresh trigger ice. Let's open this one up here if I can get into it. Hands have got the liquid all over them. There we go. And these ones here, where they're steamed, these baits, rather than boiled, they're already rather soft. You know, I can break them with my fingers. They're not like bullets, and they crumble up nicely. But what I want to do is soften them right up. So I'm going to take those. I've got about 2 kilos left in there. So I'm going to put another, say 3 kilos in there. Like so. Put a bit of the liquid booster on there. Put that over the top. There's already a bit of water and liquid in the bottle of this bucket. Bottom of the bucket, bottom of the bucket, bottom of the bucket. And I'll put that in there, give it a little stir, give it a good shake, and that'll be ready for later on today and tomorrow. There you go. That's how I prep my bait for rainbow. So it's getting on for about midday. Thought I'd give you a little update. Basically, I have had the 2 carp this morning followed by 3 bream, which is really annoying. The bream seem to have found the bait over there on my right-hand rod up on the shelf, and as soon as I'm dropping the bait down there, I'm getting a bream on it. So the tactic I was using to start with worked a treat. However, the bream found it, and that tactic was using a small pop-up over there. There's a lot of debris and stuff on the bottom, so I just put a little tiny pop-up over the top of it, a little bit of bait, a couple of handfuls, and that did me those 2 carp bites. But since then, the bream have moved in. So if I turn the camera around, what I have done is I am now using a short Gemini boom. This is the 70-pound X boom. I think it's about 7 inches. But I've gone for a pop-up bollocks rig. So for those people that Don't know what bollocks rig is where the baits are mounted sideways on a piece of floss and then tied on. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. And then in the water it sits like so, and it means that the bream have got a 30mm bait to get in their gobs, and it allows you to fish, yeah, sort of two 15mm baits side by side. So that is actually popping up slowly. It sinks down, comes to rest on top of the debris on the shelf. So even if I am on the shelf slightly, it will reset every time coming along the shelf like so. And yeah, that's what I'm fishing. It looks like a sort of, I don't know, like a praying mantis or something, doesn't it? But the funny thing is that let's just come out of there. Oh, you can see I've got my lovely carp green cool box there, and this is inside our tent area. I may as well give you a little tour of the tent area. So it's a solar pop-up cube gazebo thing, and we use this as our base basically. So we've got a gas oven there, which is absolutely crucial when you're doing these longer sessions. Just a picnic table there, heavy duty picnic table with the food and the gas underneath it. Over on the side, got my my rig prep table there with a few buckets and bait underneath it, and then we can sit underneath the canopy here and watch the water and watch the rods. So just thought I'd give you a little update there of yeah, what our base camp looks like. But what was I saying about the rigs? Can't remember what I was saying about the rigs now. Oh, about the bream. Funny thing is that I've gone and dropped the bait out there again with that bollocks rig on there, and I can just picture in my head that there's a big shoal of bream swimming around trying to eat that, and they can't eat it, and it's as if yeah, as if I'm giving two fingers up to the bream out there at the moment. They must be looking at it, trying to stick it in their gobs and stuff. But the bream I've had have been quite small, up to around about £5 I'd say, and their mouths are actually quite small, so hopefully that's going to stop them, or at least slow them down to allow the carp to come into the peg and get another bite from them. But yeah, that's an update as of midday on our first full day here at Bow, and yeah, let's hope the day brings another fish. So we're coming up to being 24 hours into this rainbow session, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this video here and do part 2 for the next 24 hours and keep these videos a bit more bite-sized, because my previous rainbow vlogs have all been hour and a half. So I thought, let's cut this down short. So this is the end of part 1. We're off to a great start. I've had 2 fish in the first 24 hours from peg 19. Hopefully we can unlock the code and get a few more fish for the rest of the session. But I hope you're enjoying it, and have a little look on the channel. I'll put a little link in the description above or below, somewhere like that, so you can see the next part and you can follow in the journey of this week at Rainbow. Take care everyone, and remember, subscribe, and remember to like the video. Cheers.